remember that they're changing my voice. So in 1 Samuel 17, David said that he's going to strike down Goliath, cut off his head, feed his carcass to the birds and wild animals, and that the whole world will know that there's a God in Israel. That's what he said. They can try to interfere with my video all they want, cause background noise, do all kinds of funny stuff with technology. That doesn't change the fact. Now, why am I pointing this out when I pointed this out already in this series? Well, because it connects to Psalm 66:3, and I want to make sure that you people understand a lot of the key points that I'm making, enough of them for you to know that I'm right beyond any doubt. And if nobody watches these videos, I'd still make them and post them anyway. So I'm doing my part. Like the sun rises in the morning, I rise to do everything that one could possibly expect of me. Psalm 66:3, say to God, how awesome are your deeds, so great is your power that your enemies cringe before you. 1 Samuel 17, how many of you think that if someone was to argue that David's victory over Goliath, was not from God, they were to argue that magically that's okay. Okay, if you're a Christian and you believe that the story occurred, or you believe the story is a story with a moral like I do, and part of the moral includes accepting that in the story that that's what happened. Part of the moral of the story is that martial art victories in truth, in the divine order, are signs of God's deeds. God is known by his acts of justice and righteousness. Was it just and righteous? Yes. Is the argument in the story that after David did that it would be a sign to the world, a sign for everyone to understand that God is with him. Why? Because it was a martial arts victory. It's what's superimposed on one in the story, at least. Hand-to-hand combat, what have you, natural combat, the stone instead of a bullet, what have you. But in true martial art combat, it's hand-to-hand. Okay, David himself would have said, yes, you're better off facing somebody in a sword fight than killing him with a sling. I mean, give me a break here. 1 + 1 = 2 in basic arithmetic, I assure you that too. Hello. Duh. And if you can prove your point without cutting his head off by sparring instead in outdoor combat, he's going to be an outdoor sparring, to make a point in point sparring. Why did that person score that point? Why exactly? What point is he trying to make? What spirit is he in? Then you should do it that way, obviously. So now let's look at this thing here. Some of you don't understand still. Some of you want to start crying about how martial arts magically has nothing to do with the Bible. Okay, even though martial is marital scramble, even though it's mind, body, soul, and spirit, even though there's not just Buddhist martial arts, there were monotheistic martial arts in the Igbo tribe in Nigeria. There's not just Shinto, it's not just capoeira. Okay, but you still, in complete ignorance, want to cry about how it must have nothing to do with anything. Even though Goliath trained for war. And after he trained for war in his war art system, his hand-to-hand combat system, with his deity, Dagon, and what have you, he made the argument that whoever wins has proven their point, and that the other side should then serve his side. He's referred to as a champion. The bridegroom in Psalm 19 is referred to as a champion, but you still want to cry about it. So let me put it this way for you. Imagine if the Simpson characters were based on real people. Well, they are. Imagine the people who they're based on are very similar to them. Imagine if Bart Simpson, the real life version of Bart Simpson. And he's going through life as a mischievous worm. He's not in moral repetition. At night, he goes by his bed and he prays a little prayer. And he argues that because he reads scripture and he prays once in a while he's living an immoral life, that magically either he should be in charge or he's magically equal to the top martial artist ever possible, who's in the repetition of moral precision, who's from the most moral family on the planet. Anyone with even a speck of fair play, Christian or otherwise, would say that is outrageous. That is the essence of blasphemy and falsehood. Say, hey guys, I feel real spiritual right now, in fact. He may as well be dressed up like Snow White, Snow Bright, like My Little Pony. May as well be dressed up in a Power Rangers outfit with a propeller hat. Because his argument is fucking ridiculous. We look at America, the masses of Americans. Shallow as the most shallow puddle ever in human history. Shallow as can be. No depth in them, not a speck of depth or loyalty to God. All their churches everywhere, 380,000 churches, 20,000 denominations. And quite often they think, hey guys, I had a dream with government technology through the roof. Mind control technology, brain hacking, artificial intelligence, military-grade psychological operations. They come from a long line of shallow people, conformists. If there was slavery, they were supporting slavery. If the people are Republicans around them, they're Republicans. Just shallow, groupies, pushovers, corny, just way out of touch. And by their actions, they say to God's son, no, we don't need you to lead us because we're shallow bitches. They swear that because we had a government-induced fucking dream, one way or another, that we're in the true spirit. I tell you, you are not in my spirit. I'm in the spirit of moral precision. You're a motherfucking groupie. What the fuck are you talking about?